goodness Charlotte was there to save me. It's me. So anyway, thank you. I totally forgot to turn on the volume button. So it is so good to see you guys. I'm here without my Kiwi. Good, I'm glad. Last week, Kiwi tried to steal the show. So I said, you can stay upstairs today, Miss Kiwi. So anyway, plus she's kind of going through a teenage angst phase, let's say, meaning she's being a little difficult. There, I'm talking nice because I'm on live. So anyway, so who is here? And let me see you. And Patty Chamberlain is back. I'm so tickled, Patty. We missed you. Patty is awake today. Patty's been having what I've had, which is somehow this fall, for some reason, we're feeling tired. It was like the time change happened and our bodies went, So I'm glad she's awake. So we've got Bonnie and Charlotte and Patty, and I'm thrilled. And I want to thank Bonnie for your comments about the new series. And I'm going to do this in conjunction with the rest because Mark's been telling me for a while, honey, make some short little ones. You know, things that people, don't have to set aside a huge block of time to watch. And I've had enough people saying, I'm kind of new to quilting. I don't know what that means. And they're tentative, and which new quilters are. Sometimes they're too afraid to say, hey, what's going on? Anyway, Charlotte, thank you for saving me because I forgot to turn on the mic. I assume that was Charlotte, but thank you. So let me push this back. Come down just a touch. All right. Does it look like I just got to sleep at after 4 in the morning? I need toothpicks to prop up my eyes. I was so excited about going and editing. I tell you what, my first beginner basics, the editing shows I was doing it in the middle of the night. But what can you say? Oh, Miss Bonnie has a question. Do I look? Well, it's interesting. Bonnie asked if I got any envelopes. I wonder, did I get any envelopes? So I got them in yesterday, and I haven't opened anything because I like doing it with y'all. And I also wanted to say, I tried to do a contest this week on the Yahoo site, and I don't think I got a single entry. So either I typed something wrong or everybody was so busy doing other things. So maybe we'll try again this week. All right, let's open these. You don't know, Bonnie, it's so hard not opening these as soon as they come in. It was funny because I told Mark, he was coming in the door, and he goes, got some packages. I said, I know what it is. It's Bonnie. I said, just toss them over. He goes, oh, no, hon, these would hurt you. So I'm like, I can't wait to see what's in them. You think there might be one more in the mail? Okay. Oh, this is great. And you know what? As they say, your cleaning out is our treasure. So, and it's the time of year to get good things for all the peeps in our group. So, ooh, let's look at this. I save Bonnie's envelopes too because I'm cheap, and then I mail prizes out to people in them. Oh, you have nice stuff, Miss Bonnie. Oh, Primrose Path. Now, she hasn't checked to see if everything is there. But you know what? I think our people are smart enough. If there's a little piece missing, they'll figure it out. And they probably can duplicate it. Nice. Look at this. It's called the Wig Rose. That's got some historical significance. Oh, my gosh. Now, Bonnie, are you expecting... You still can't hear? And everybody else, I think, can hear. you refreshed and it didn't work, and you've got your both volumes. There's a volume for this and then a volume on your computer. Make sure both are turned on. Can everyone else hear me? Yay, Patty can hear me. And that's not something Mark often says. Don't. Okay, but anyway, Bonnie, do you really expect me to pass on this pink flamingo fabric? You expect me to give this away to our lovely members? Did you notice on my pineapple fabrics trip that there was something hanging from my car mirror? So, Bonnie, don't make me give this up. Don't make me give this up. That's what happens when the prizes are too good. Oh, labels. These are cool labels. Yay, yay, yay. People can always use labels because you guys do know. Label your quilts. History's going to want to know. Ooh, quick watercolor quilts. That's a great book to have. And you know, think about it. Watercolor quilts are great for using your stash. Think about that. All right. I have a bag over here. I put Miss Bonnie's stuff in. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Bonnie. Oh, read what you wrote. Uh-oh. Where did you write it? Did I miss something? Hold on. Was it in here? Nope, not in there. Okay, let's see. Where did you write it, Miss Bonnie? In the comments. Oh. Thank you, because I have this little thing for pink flamingos. Yes. Oh, thank you. I like what my granddaughter said. Just keep saying, oh, I lost it. I don't know where it went. So my granddaughter's had a rough week, not feeling good. And so I'm so tickled she's here. I've told you, I think before, that she's extremely allergic to gluten. She has celiac disease. You know, we hear all about, oh, gluten this, gluten that. She really has it. And she's a trooper. It's hard. She feels so sick, and it's hard. But I think she's feeling better. And I'm so glad she's here because I miss her. In fact, her and my grandson are coming over next weekend. So Nana and Grandpa are going to have a wild time. You know what, Charlotte? I told him today that when he went to the Walmart neighborhood store, I said, get Charlotte a bag of plain Lay's potato chips. So we got her. And then I also have some Honey Nut Cheerios here. So, but anyway, I love my Charlotte being here. And everybody put your hands together and hope that she stays well for a bit. We don't want any tummy aches and stuff over Christmas. Sonia's back. Hello, Sonia. Oh, I'm so glad to see you guys. Okay, here's the second package from Miss Bonnie. You know, Miss Bonnie's so generous. We could do the whole show just looking at stuff she's donated to our little contest. Oh, speaking, oh, I love my Charlotte. So, oh, and Grandpa got you, Charlotte, Grandpa got you the little sausages you like that you can eat. So we're looking out for you, gal. And then I got plenty of candy for Evan. Tons of candy. Oh, I've got Tootsie Rolls for Charlotte. I hope, yeah, I still have Tootsie Rolls. And plenty of candy for Evan. So, and strawberry Pop-Tarts, Evan. I took care of you too, sweetheart. So, and I've got some crafts for them to make next week. In fact, you know what? I want to go get some gingerbread houses. So ask Mom if it's okay if we do gingerbread houses. I don't want to leave her out in case she had planned on, oh, she might be doing it when your other grandparents come over soon. So, but we'll work it out. All right. Oh, look at this great stuff. And I save everything that comes in with it because you know what? It can be used. Oh, more giveaways. Remember to, oh, Bonnie, you're so sweet. She's so wonderful to me. She knows that I might look at some of this stuff and go, oh, Oh, you know what? Here are the blocks for America's Barns. And I tell you what, maybe I'll add to it. I have the Eleanor Burns book of the kitchen, the cooking and the kitchen collection that as a block of the month I made. So do you, Bonnie, would you like the one that's the kitchen book of Eleanor Burns? If not, I can add it to the drawing list. But this is great, guys. These Quilt Barns, this series has just been running. So this is a great prize and heavy. All right. Here is a beautiful, it's called House Call, and it's a log cabin pattern. You know, people kind of tend to not really give credit to a log cabin pattern, but you can make so many things out of a log cabin pattern. So, oh, Persian dusk. Oh, here we go. You know, the Persians were very, very big into embroidery. And so that's beautiful. It's very subtle, elegant, very, you probably can't see good, but it's very elegant. So that's wonderful. The snowman quilt behind you. Thank you, Charlotte. You get to see it next week. In fact, Charlotte, do you think you want to make one? I have the stuff to make it. It's very easy. So, and you probably are thinking, where's her today's quilt? She puts up that snowman quilt again just because she's so proud she finished something. I'm teasing you. So, let me see. A curvy. Oh, yes. I have never done a curvy log cabin, and I can't wait to try it. I've got one I've been doing by hand, and it takes 68 blocks, and I'm at about 40 blocks there. And I've only been working on it 6 years. That's not bad. I've tried to decide, do I hand quilt it since it's all handmade? In fact, I did it to match the motorhome. I have a feeling the motorhome's going to be gone before that quilt's ever done. You're doing a queen size, 144 blocks. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. All right. So, oh, you've made a log cabin with the traditional blocks. Love them, love them, love them. I'm really hoping that Lisa's going to be here today. She's a cute new member who joined. And I was really hoping, because I thought of her a lot when I decided to start the Beginner Basics series. So I thought, that's it. You have beautiful colors. You know what surprised me with it is the colors were not what I was expecting. Every time it seems like, hi, Busy Pat. No, you're not late. You're just in time. You're never late to something of mine because you know what? We have no rules here. So it is so good. We got two Pats. We've got Patty C and Busy Pat. So why don't we just call Pat, Busy Pat, and Patty? And that way we can keep them straight because I'm so tickled they're both here. So hold on just a second and let's see what I've got. All right. Yes, I do. I love my snowman quilt, but you know, I know that you need to see other things too. All right. This is an interesting quilt. I took this class from a woman named Tina Roth at the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. And I was attracted to it because of the 3D look of those blocks. Let me tell you, ladies, this was not an easy quilt to make. The 3D blocks, they're easy. What the 3D blocks are on is not. Does anyone out there recognize what the background pattern is? Anybody recognize it? I'll give you a hint. Ricky Timms designed it. Anybody have a clue? Yeah, the background was difficult, Patty. You got that right. Good guess, Charlotte. It is a type of weaving. Ricky Timms did a book on this, and it's called Convergence Quilts. And it's where you make strip sets and you cut them, cut. And then you move them, move the strips in a precise manner and re-sew them together. But it's not just move them side to side, it's up to top to bottom. Whew. So it's called a convergence. It's from his Convergence series. One day, if I ever get brave enough, I actually made 2 of these, believe it or not. But if I ever get brave enough, I'll teach you guys. But how do you say this? Have you ever made a quilt? It's like a math problem. You get the answer, but you have no idea how you got the answer. That's what this quilt was. The other one's not quite perfect. I made a mistake somewhere along the way, and but it's cute. I mean, it looks great. And unless you are an expert on convergence quilts, you don't realize I made a mistake because it's a little complicated. How you would know is see how it goes lighter to darker and then lighter. Whoops, I've got to touch. I'm touching my computer screen thinking you're seeing that. See how it goes darker to lighter and then darker upwards to lighter. That's how you know I got it right. My other one, it's not a steady smooth, but these were cut and recut and put together, and these were fun. I loved making the little cubes, and what I enjoyed was the interlocking ones, because it truly, if you're careful, and you have to decide where your light source is coming from. Can anyone tell me where the light, if there was a lamp that was making these look 3D, can anyone tell me where the light source is coming from? Is it from top, bottom, left, or right? What would you say? Yeah, Bonnie, I'm with you. I mean, when it got to geometry, I was like, oh, we've got a new person. Let me get my glasses on. Hello, Leanie. Oh, neat. Top right. Pretty close. It's kind of good guess, Sonia. It's kind of coming from this direction right here. Because see that these are the lighter ones. And I didn't get them quite right. See how they kind of changed a little bit because it was tricky. But good job, Sonia. And that's what you have to do, because if I put a light side over here, you would totally lose the 3D effect. So just remember, in landscapes, quilting, and any 3D quilt, you know what bothers me? You know the baby blocks quilts you see? It bothers me when they're all mixed up and the lighter parts are on the side here, top here, bottom here. My little pea brain has to be, has to kind of be very orderly. So anyway, I'm going to show you a little tool that I used with this. Because in something like this, where you have such narrow pieces and so many seams coming together in a small area, you have to iron your seam allowances open. Now, in quilting, I tell you, never iron your seam allowances open because it weakens the seam. And especially if you're doing stitch in your ditch, you're sewing right over those threads that join the two seams. But in something like this, you absolutely have to. You've just got too many seam allowances in a small area. So if you ever want to make a quilt like a Bargella, where you have lots of seam allowances come together, go to the hardware store and get a piece of half round. See this half round? Now you can buy these at a quilt shop, and some of them are covered with a nice little stocking of muslin, and you're going to pay $8 for it. Or you can go to the hardware store and look for the scraps, ask where they keep the scrap moldings, or stop by a building site, ask for a scrap of half round molding, and 30 cents, you've got it. So now be careful if it has any sap. Make sure it's, dried well or finished with something that can handle the heat. But you just lay the seam allowance on this. Let me see if I can find a piece I've still got sewn. I've been using up all my scraps on demonstrations. But anyway, what you would do is pretend this is a seam, and you open it up first with your fingers, lay it on the top of this, and then press it open. And because of the curve, it makes it easy to press open. So do yourself a favor, make your own. So you can buy it if you want. But people like me, every bit I can save on stuff like this, fabric. So, or classes, or anything that's fun. Trying to put it away, it's not cooperating. I might need to clean out my... Did I ever show you? You know how sometimes you can go to a Chinese restaurant and get chopsticks? Well, before you break them apart, because usually they come together like this, you know, and then you break them apart. This makes a wonderful point pusher or wooden iron. See the 45-degree angle? And what I mean by a wooden iron, for those of you who might not know, let's say you've sewn some pieces together and you want to press the seam allowance. You do it on your hard surface. You run the wooden iron along it, and it does a good job. And that way you don't have to constantly, every seam, run to the ironing board. So remember that. Chopsticks can be your friend. A lot of people talk about using skewers. I do not use metal skewers. Not skewers. What are they called? Bonnie, who can help me? Melissa? What is it? Hi, Michelle! So, what are the little things that we use to guide the fabric under the needle? Now you're seeing why going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning is not a good thing. But anyway, whatever it's called, cuticle sticks. Yeah, but there's a name for something that people use when they're sewing to help guide stiletto. Sonia, you are the answer queen today, girlfriend. Boy, Sonia got good sleep. She is sharp. Yes, stiletto. I prefer bamboo skewers to stilettos. Now, this is a sturdier one. Have no idea where I got it, but I hold on to it. But I prefer bamboo skewers. And let me tell you why. Melissa has what? What does Melissa have? Did Melissa get it? I don't know. But, porcupine quill. Yes, I've heard of those. And, but the reason I like something besides metal, if your needle hits it, you're less likely to have the needle shatter, damage your machine, come up and hit you in the face. I have been hit by a broken needle before, and it stung and scared me. You know, it's like, whoa. And, you know, if you break a needle too hard, you can totally throw off the timing of your sewing machine. So consider getting a pack of bamboo skewers from the grocery store. You will have, and you can shorten them. You know, you can break them and roughly sand the edge if you want them shorter. But good job. So now we've had our excitement of, you know, and when Charlotte comes over next weekend, Charlotte, you can look at any of this. You'll get to see it before the ladies can win it. So I'm going to move this quilt back. It's kind of making me feel like I'm in a shadow. All right. I chose too hard of a question for this week's prize giving. Thank you, Patty. Does anyone know the original answer? The question was, what does Jenny Beyer wear because she cannot take it off? She put it on and then realized, it was not going to come off. And so she has worn it for the last 40 years, as far as I know. Anybody know that answer? And feel free to guess, because you never know, you might get it right. But what I did is we'll do the prize drawing again this week, because I have no names to go from. But I was just curious if anyone know. You would guess a ring? Well, you're close. You're in the larger family. Okay. So everybody ready for me to tell you? And now when you see any of her videos, look for it. You'll see it. Her husband traveled to a lot of foreign countries. And Miss Jenny, she's not just a wonderful quilter and designer. She started schools for the deaf, different things like this in the different countries, in the different foreign countries, especially countries of need. She did many good works. And someone at some point, a tattoo, I love, I love your sense of humor, girlfriend. And someone in one of the countries, as a thank you gift, gave her a jade bracelet. And it's a beautiful jade bracelet. And so if you ever notice, it's on her left arm. And evidently that's where, if you wear a jade bracelet, that's where you put it closer to your heart. So she has had that bracelet on for, I know, 40 years. But I like Sonia's answer. I mean, way to go, Jenny. Get a tattoo. That is so cute. So anyway, but I'm sorry. I got so obscure. And I looked it up on the internet and realized I can't find any mention. And I thought, well, I wonder where, she might have told the story at her last seminar. I don't know, but I do know I've heard it. So she cannot take it off. No, it is stuck on her hand. She somehow managed to get it on, but couldn't take it off. And you know what? I'm so glad she can't take it off, because I look for it. Every video, I look at her left wrist to see if that bracelet. And jade is so beautiful. It's kind of classic and timeless. So, and no matter what she wears, it looks great, because it's a kind of soft, very soft jade. So anyway, I'm not going to tell you the answer for the other questions I inserted instead, because we'll try it again this week. And maybe I'll add a couple more prizes, because you know what? You deserve it. So I'm trying to decide. I have several fun things to show you. And I don't know if I showed you my grandson's quilt that I was working on, but I had to make a gazillion. Yes, that's a real number. I had to make, you can tell math wasn't my best subject. I had to make a gazillion quarter square triangles and a good number of other things. But this is the beginning of my grandson's quilt. And whoops, it's upside down. All of a sudden, I realized all the wild animals were standing on their heads. I'm interested to tell you this. One day I'll do a little more detail about it. But you know that I make my quarter square triangles 8 at a time. Makes it much easier. But see these things? This is an interesting little block. And I'm not sure exactly what you would call that. But if you look really closely, you'll see this end is wider than that end. It's a baby. He won't even notice. But let me tell you what I did and why it's not exactly perfect. It bothered me that it called for a 4.5-inch block, so you would have had to cut it down. And then, so it called for 4.5-inch block of the line. And these are finished at 3.5. Then it called for 2 squares of the cute little mushroom fabric. That was a lot of waste just to get a stripe across the diagonal of the block. So this is what I did. I took, and I knew the block had to be 3.5 inches. And I took paper and folded it in half. I took a 3.5-inch square of paper, folded it in half. And then I said, okay, how wide is that stripe supposed to be? And I took that amount and then realized, oh, but you got to leave seam allowance. So I took that amount to subtract from the triangle I was going to make, the mushroom triangle. I just took this amount and subtracted it, but then had to add back this one's seam allowance. And I made templates. and I cut it out. And I did the same thing for the stripe. It finishes at 1/2 inch, so you add 1/4 inch on either side of that. So you cut a 1 inch straight piece of the line. So it was a little trickier getting it done, but I saved a ton of fabric. And I didn't have any of that mushroom fabric to spare. So this is coming along. I'm going to keep working on it, I promise. In fact, I have to, because I'm going up to see my son before Christmas, and this has to be all done. It can no longer be this. It has to be something they can really use. So I'll be busy with that. And I got a different color off-white. The one I first picked looked rather yellow. So let's see what you're saying. Oh, thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. Charlotte is so good. She's still using, Charlotte, I'm going to tell them about your quilt. There was a quilt I made when I was way back in Maryland. So we're talking 18 years ago, 19 years ago, maybe 18. And or did I make it here? No, I think I made it back in Maryland. So I know it was more than 15. And not that y'all needed to know that. Why do I do that? So, but anyway, it was going to be a mystery quilt I was going to work on. And so what I decided was use colors that I'm not comfortable with. Because you know the colors I'm comfortable with, those beautiful jewel tones. But you know, if you stay in your comfort zone, you don't learn anything. You have to stretch and get outside that comfort zone, and then you really learn new stuff. So I chose my 2 least favorite colors at the time. They were orange and pink. And I took orange and pink and used it to make this mystery quilt that I did. And Charlotte now has it. Yeah, if I gave them, Charlotte said, what if I just gave them the bag of quilt parts? Exactly. But Charlotte, you have that pink and orange quilt. And she's had it for years because I thought, you know what, she might get a kick out of this. And Charlotte, I think we need to tell them how Nana let you get on her long arm frame at 5 years of age, and how that Nana taught you how to sew by hand at 4 years of age, and how that now you're a knitter. Explain that one to them, Charlotte. I love it that she creates art. It doesn't matter that she's a knitter or a quilter, but I tried so hard to get a quilter this time. But nope, she's joined my daughters in that knitting club. So anyway, so now, Bonnie, here's my paint chip challenge. But I promise I'm going to come back to it. But I just wanted to show you I know where it is. It's all together. It's going to be finished one day. I promise. So, yeah, Charlotte's good on the long arm. Even at 5, it was amazing. She watched where she was going. She moved it very evenly. I was surprised because Nana takes Charlotte and Evan driving, where I go to a remote parking lot and let them drive, because my dad did that with me and I loved it. And I think it makes you a better driver. It's something you get used to as a child and grow into. Well, Charlotte, I'm going to tease you on this one. Charlotte has a lead foot. Good Lord. She snaps your head back, and then when she stops, she snaps it forward. So at least you end up back where you started. But she's really good at paying attention and looking around. But we got to work on that foot action. Maybe next weekend we'll go driving again. My Evan, which is her younger brother, he's real good at feathering the gas pedal and gentle on easing it onto the brake pedal. But where he's driving, he's looking over here because something distracted him. I'm like, Evan, you got to keep looking where we're going. So they have 2 different skill sets. But they're both very good at it. I'm really proud of them. So anyway, yours is put off to the side too. You're going to do another test. Excellent. Oh, yeah. Well, small applique pieces. Oh, my gosh, Bonnie, what do you get yourself into? You go, girl. You're my type of woman. So today, we'll see what I have time for. I was going to show you about how I'm starting to design the beach quilt, the landscape quilt. I haven't forgotten, but I might not have time today for that. I want to show you some fun stuff, okay? Now, also a little hint. I've got, I've been telling you, I've got all these videos on the computer waiting to be edited. But before I put this away, I thought I would show you something. Let me turn on my iron. I am using templates for the floor pattern. And what I'm doing right now is taking some time out to make one block of that to see if I have my colors set up the way I need to. I realized that what we've got is not really directions on how to make it. It's more of a handout type. This is how much you'll need. And it gives basics of, like, I'll give you an example. The background blocks, it says to cut out 4.5-inch squares. That's all good. And I've done that. You see and I've actually started, I sewed this by hand last night thinking I'd get a whole block done. Didn't happen. But it has things like this design. Now, she breaks the square of the applique into quarters, but what she doesn't do is break the applique pieces down themselves. So I had to, with my template plastic, I had to go and break down these pieces. Like this is like a leaf shape, this bud right here. And I had to, though, add a seam allowance, and I had to figure out what it looked like behind this other piece. So here are my applique pieces, and I labeled them. And boy, some of my lines aren't straight, but anyway, I'll know what I'm doing. But the dotted line is where the fold line ends up being. And then I had to add seam allowance. So I will actually cut the fabric out on the solid line. So the reason I'm telling you all this is not that you have to remember this yet. It's just it gave me an idea for a hint to use. And Charlotte, thank you. I think that quilt's going to be really pretty. Wait till you see the fabrics. I'll show you the fabrics I'm going to use. So I had to make the templates. I decided, instead of using bacon package inserts and package plastic, to go ahead and use the real template plastic. And, oh, your feed is buffering. I'm sorry. Hopefully am I still here? Yeah, I think we're getting stuff. But anyway, I have sheets of template plastic, but they are the no melt. And I don't want to use that for this because I don't need to iron this. So I had this roll. I've had this roll for at least 6 years, and it's been rolled up. Yours is fine? Good. Okay, I hope everybody... Oh, Melissa, I would hate to lose you. So what I thought, how do I straighten this out? Because how in the world, I mean, look at this. How in the world do you lay this flat and draw on it? I figured it out. I'll show you. Ready? Let me turn my camera. Sorry, guys. So what I do, my iron's nice and hot. It's on 7. I iron a good rectangle on the ironing board, filling in the middle. Iron, 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 iron. Okay? Now, this is the part you have to be careful of. I take the template plastic, lay it down where I just ironed, making sure it's not too hot. I don't want to get burned. But I lay it down and then smooth it over the warm ironing board area. And I can't iron it because it would melt. This is the kind that would melt. But do you see what I'm doing? Okay. And you can feel the plastic kind of relax, because this plastic has what's called a memory, and it wants to pop back where it was. Now, it will. Watch this. When I take it up, it pops back. But look at the difference in the sides. See how this one is bigger and looser. I'm sorry yours is cutting in and out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's this weather. We are so foggy here. So I re-warm up the area. I have to do this several times. Now, if I had time, and I could use Miss Bonnie's books. What I would do is lay this, it's nice and warm under there. Lay these books on this, let it completely cool, and see if it. I have tried to roll it from the opposite direction, and it wanted to crinkle. In fact, I'll show you, because that's what we were taught. We were taught, roll it from the opposite direction. Well, one of the problems is I made a crease in it. You really see it makes a crease so easily. I tried not to do that. I don't know if you can see that little crease, but it's very hard to, I don't know if it's the type of template stuff or not, but I tried rolling it the opposite way, and it just gave me a fit. So I wonder how, we'll go ahead and talk and come back to that. But now I'm going to show you my fabric. You might have already seen this on the video. I told Mark, I said, Mark, I need a holder to mount my camera on the dashboard, because I had such fun the other day making the pineapple video. And I've got to really practice and work on being steady. In fact, I told him I tried to just bring the camera into Pineapple Fabrics, and unfortunately it wasn't the best idea, because when you're just holding this camera, you don't realize how much you move around. And I do want to say, when I'm driving, I do not look at what I shoot. I turned it where I thought that it would film grommet, and I do what I think, you're seeing, but I am very careful. So don't worry about me. But I would like to put it on the dashboard, because then I know it'll be steadier, and I know you'll actually get to see the road instead of my dashboard. But I had fun doing that, and I want to do more. So I have got 3 Christmas fun projects to show you today. I'm so excited. All right, here is, I love this IKEA cart. That I can line up everything I'm going to talk to you about and know right where it is. So now, Bonnie, are you here? There you go. Exactly. So I tell you, well, let us, before I do anything else, let's see what happens now. I think it's cooled off a good amount, but let's see what happens after I take Bonnie's prizes off. Hold on a second. Let me get these over here. Okay. So far, so good. Look. Okay, it's still rolling up, but it's still bigger. So I wonder if I could warm it up, then roll it this way, and then tie it down. But this is what I ended up doing last night. And as you can see, the pieces I cut out are still a little curvy, but definitely laid flat. And also, once you start cutting it away, as a piece, the memory is still very strong. But I laid it out and held it and drew my shapes, then cut that section out, and then that way it started relaxing. But it's definitely, I don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely more relaxed. See how, but anyway, that's a good, we'll try that. All right. So I'm going to show you the fabric for the Fleur quilt. Let's see what you think. I'm so excited. I sat at the pineapple. Oh, and you know what? I'm so glad I went to that pineapple sale, because a woman who I met who sent comments in about that said they might not have the next one till April. So I'm glad I went. So, all right. So I'll put my, and best thing I've ever done is start keeping all my projects in a sturdy bag, because it's so easy to lay stuff down. And then when you have that few moments to work on it, you have to go spend all this time hunting it up. So I have a nice zippered bag that I keep everything in. I know where it is. Then I'll take this and the fabric and put them in a larger tote. So if I want to work on this and I've got a half an hour, I grab the tote, go to the machine, I'm ready to work. So that's a hint I learned. So anyway, we're talking about the Fleur, and I wish I could send a message to Bobby Ashley and tell her how much I love this quilt. It's lovely. This is what I'm going to do. Now, Bonnie is busy trying to do testing, so I'm going to be very delicate and walk on little tiptoes around Miss Bonnie, because I certainly don't want to overwhelm her, okay? Now, the plastic bags. Someone asked me, where do you get those plastic bags? When I buy sheets, when anything I buy, if it's a decent bag, I save it. And a good hint is go to Walmart, might have to go to the bigger one, and look where they have the zipper bags. They have 1.5 gallon, 2 gallon zippered bags that you can put a whole project in. And I buy boxes of those, but I save everything. Your body's used to being overwhelmed. So I looked at this fabric and I kept thinking, well, I can do it in any color. I'm not a black and white kind of gal. But I found, when I looked and looked and looked to try to find a focus fabric, and normally I'm a bright colored gal, but they didn't have any good big florals. And I think to give justice to this, I needed some floral. So I saw this, and it doesn't have bright colors, but there was something about it that was pretty classy. I mean, it's got metallic. It's got that touch. When you carefully put brown and black and white together, it can be magic. And they did it. They did it here. And gold. Laundry section. Ah, good job. Yep, and get the bigger the Ziploc bags. I even ordered some from Amazon. We're talking about storage bags. I even ordered some big ones from Amazon. The only problem is there's only a few in a box, and they were like $10. But look at this, with handles and everything. And these are this is 1 foot 3 inches by 1 foot 3 inches. That does not look like a square to me. That looks like a rectangle. Has a label you can write on. So last year for Christmas, I said, one of my stocking stuffers I want are the big Ziploc bags. So, okay, so I've got this. And I loved the brown and the black and the gold and the white and the green. I thought, that's pretty classy. And I'm not a classy kind of gal, but I thought maybe I could pretend. So here's this fabric. Then I went around and thought, okay, what can I find? Well, wouldn't you believe I happened to find a Jenny Beyer? Now, you want to know how big of a Jenny Beyer nut I truly am? I was cutting it yesterday, and I was cutting off selvages. I couldn't bear to throw the selvages away, because guess what? Some of them had Jenny Beyer's name on them. I'm like, okay, Deb, you need to throw the selvages away. Am I being a little silly or what? So, but anyway. Well, thank you, Patty. So I found, let me bring it down. It's not about me, it's about the fabric. Isn't that the best part? Whoops, and why do I have this on here? Okay. All right. So I found this because I love the look of the off-white and then that darker grayish brownish, because you know what these blocks are behind the applique? They're 9 patches. How easy. But look how complicated it looks. They're just 9 patches. I can do 9 patches, girlfriend. So I found this fabric out in the tent and got it home and realized, because it's a like a marbly look, it's beautiful, Found out it was a Stonehenge for $4.99 a yard. Hello. Wish I'd bought the bolt now. So this is going to be my white, okay? Then this is going to be the grayish, brownish. For the deep between these two, I will make my 9 patch. So see that? And I like it. It's subtle. Yeah, we know how much of a nut I am. That's for sure. Charlotte, you know, tell them that I am a silly Nana. Boy, oh boy. So I cut out all these squares. Yay. Yay for my shape cut ruler. Melissa, we love our slotted rulers. Love them. All right. Now, then I went around and picked out fabric. One thing I love about this pattern is she used a blush color pink in the roses. And then, I don't know if you can see, but she used it again up like for the little buds. So I thought, well, I don't have really a pink. I've got this soft, well, you know what? This is the hard part. If the lighting is too strong, but it's a blushy beigey. Like I call it like a real light mocha. So I thought, well, what can I get to go with that? So let me line this back up, pull my light back here. All right. So I've got my white. I've got the light brownie tan. These are for the 9 patches. This is the focus fabric. And look what I found to go with the little mocha places. And remember I told you what Jenny Beyer said, to get a quilt that's got some excitement to it, some oomph. Who wants a normal Nana? Thank you, Charlotte. And I picked out, this is one of those beautiful Timeless Treasures blenders. It's called Willow. But I picked out this, and it's a little modelly, but it's got lighter and darker shades than this mocha. And that's what Jenny Beyer said. In fact, when I went to her seminar, she showed 3 quilts, and one of them is where she went exactly the colors that were on the dots on the selvage. Another one, she, in the same exact quilt, but she used colors that were lighter and darker than the dots on the focus fabric. And then the third one is she went all different shades of the dots on the focus fabric. And so she kind of asked what some people like different things, but overwhelmingly the people chose the quilt, like she knew they would, that had fabrics that went above and beyond, lighter and darker than the dots on the focus fabric selvage. And what that does is it gives sparkle. If you match the dots, if you're matchy, it comes out dull. It doesn't have any highlights, doesn't have any lowlights. And so that I remembered. And if you can remember one thing, remember that. Yes, I have this Willow blenders. I've got a big applique project upstairs, and I got almost all willows in all the different shades. And, you know, this reminds me, there's Willows by Timeless Treasure. There's Dimples. Those are wonderful. But look, what I loved is the gold that was in here. It just gives it that little touch of sparkle. I found this green. And the reason I like that green so much is because it's got all the different shades. It's a modelly green. Has all different shades that this has, plus a touch of gold. Then I love this one. This, to me, reminds me of, oh, what's his name? Back during, he did all the wallpaper. Back during the early craftsman stage. This reminds me of an Art Deco. I've forgotten his name now, but who did the wallpaper back during the Art Deco phase? But I love this. I haven't decided exactly where to use it. I had black at home, so I didn't have to worry about getting black. And next week, I'll show you where I put all my colors. This, I love this. I love that Diane 57, what a brilliant way to describe it. Because she didn't know the name of it. And, you know, I just barely showed it in the picture. And she called it windshield wiper fabric, which I thought was brilliant. Isn't that a great way to describe that? Diane, I hope you're still here, hon. But I thought that was so great. This also, to me, has a very Art Deco look, doesn't it? And, yeah, I thought it was such a great way. I mean, what a great way to describe Deb. I like that fabric. And the reason I chose this is it has some brown tones. It has some, yeah, it is very Art Deco. And God, I love Art Deco. I used to love watching Hercule Poirot because it was set during the Art Deco and it was beautiful. But anyway, I chose this for this quilt because it has a cast of green, it has a cast of brown, and it has the gold dots. So I'm going to use that. Probably, I think I've decided I might use that in this very narrow border in between here. And it's such gorgeous fabric, I might have to make it a little bit wider. And then, hopefully, I'll have a little bit to send a piece to Diane 57. So, because I get tickled when somebody goes, oh, I love that fabric. Immediately, I want to, here, you want it? I'll share it with you. Oh, don't. Oh, no. Now I know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to say, well, I like that one, and I like that one. Then this is a black with the gold print on it. And I have had a problem with a quilt I made before where from a distance, it looks green. But that's okay in this case because I want that green to be highlighted. That's the only bright color that's in it. Otherwise, it's very subtle. So I've decided, if you look on this pattern, do you see this applique? They used this, a fabric similar to this for that. I'm going to use this for that and use solid black for some of the inner little bits and pieces. And I think that way I'll get a good look. So I haven't quite figured out where I'm going to put the green fabric, but I'm going to because I got to have some color. So this is what I chose. I want, Charlotte likes those colors, hint, hint. So I want to thank Miss Bonnie because I am so excited about this. When she posted that and said there's one in her future, and I saw the picture, I went, oh, yeah. And I didn't know that it inspired me so much that I'm using the same color palette in some ways. But this is what I'm going to do for y'all. I know Miss Bonnie's very busy. And Miss Melissa is very busy. But what I'm going to do is do this as a block of the month program starting around New Year's Day. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a sew-in where we'll be here and sewing and chatting 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever works for y'all. And I have a poll on the Yahoo group, but feel free to tell me whether you'd want me to do this on Sunday. That Sunday is December 30th. And then Monday is December 31st, and Tuesday's January 1st. If I'm not mistaken, those are the dates. And so Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Mark said, do it on Monday. I'll be at work, and that way we can still have time together. But either way, you know, we could do it on Sunday, which is our traditional time, or we can do it on Tuesday, New Year's Day. Now, some people might have plans for New Year's Day. We don't. So either way, it works for me. And what I normally do when I do a sew-in like this is I get my meal set, you know, pack a bag lunch or whatever. I come down here with everything I need, snacks, something to drink in a few minutes, you know, whatever. Like coffee now or hot tea now, and then maybe ice water later or something, my lunches and snacks. And I will be sewing and working on this actual quilt with you. And you don't have to work on this quilt. I know everyone has a lot going on. bring whatever project you'd like to work on. You'll be able to send me pictures by email, and I can show them to people if you would like me to show them. And we can just chat. I can answer questions and give hints. Now, in doing all of this, because I want to make it as much fun for people, Patty now needs her coffee. I want to make this as much fun for you as I can. If you are willing to work on this project, and you can shop your stash if you need to. Christmas is a hard time to go, oh, let me go spend $100 of fabric. I've already started working up what is the actual amount of fabric you need, because I'm noticing it's not as much as I was told to buy. So keep that in mind. But I'm also going to make instructions that turn it into a block of the month, so that I'm going to give you cutting instructions within the next week, so that if you have a little time here or there, you can cut it out. And then, and I'll tell you, how to label it, how to cut it. I will make copies for anybody who wants that, I'll make copies of all the stencils I cut out. I'll lay them on paper, scan it into the computer, and email it to you. So you don't have to do what I did. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, because I've already visualized it and added seam allowance, and I will make those pages available to you. And I'll have all the stuff ready weeks in advance, so that if you wish to start this quilt, you can do that. And you can have the cutting done ahead of time if you wish, or cut while we chat. Sew while we chat, whichever way. So if you want to do that, then feel free to join in. If you're not a member of our Yahoo group, just send me your email address. You don't even have to join if you just want me to send the information to you. I did that last week with this. What was it I was doing? There was something, and I know what it was, the attic window. And someone who is not in our group just said, hey, can you send me the patterns for that? Bing, I sent everything off to her. So I'm always very happy to do that. And you don't have to have template plastic. You can trace these onto cardboard, or just lay your fabric. Well, if it's black fabric, it's not going to work. If it's a light fabric, it would work. You could lay your fabric right over the piece of paper with the printing on it. So it's just something to think about. Please don't feel like you have to do this, because, you're the boss here, right? Now let's have a little fun. Got to get the charging cord. Okay, sweetie. So I saw these on a website or a magazine a couple years ago. And when I was president of the Quilt Guild, I used to every year try to think of something to make for people, or for people to do a make and take, because I love doing stuff like make and take. And I want to show you this. This was finished by a dear woman named Kay in the Barbecue City Quilters. And I treasure this. I love this so much, because she's such a dear, dear lady. And I keep this on the tray of my long arm year round, because it just makes me happy. I mean, she went to a lot of trouble to make a beautiful tree for me. What I did is I cut these little log sections from a little sapling. We have 1.5 acres, and it's very wooded. So Mark cut the sapling and then cut it into whatever length I asked him. This is 1.5 inches. Then I tried to let them dry a little bit. You could probably buy something from a craft store. Then I drilled the hole and wanted to put a little dowel rod in it. So I took and mixed up some plaster. I put the dowel rod in the hole, poured the plaster in, centered the dowel rod so I would have a base for the tree. And I think they're so cute. And then you just take yeah, I don't want her to hear that Charlotte's in charge. And you just take the fabric and you can cut them on an angle or straight up and down. It's a great way to use scraps, ladies. And here is another one that's in the works. And I just took and sewed these together, cut out a triangle, then sewed the triangles of the strips together, stuffed it with batting remnants. We're talking cheap here. And this is where your bamboo skewer comes in real handy, because you just pack those scrap stuffing in there. And then you just take a hot glue gun and glue it onto the dowel rod that's underneath here. She did a great thing, too, to make sure it stayed on there. She used some of the hot glue and glued the fabric of the Christmas tree right to the wooden base. But these I thought were so cute. And you don't have to use green fabrics. You could use white and gold fabric. You could make it as elegant as you want. Yay, Charlotte has all the power. Oh, no, and she did the moo-ha-ha. I'm in trouble now. So you can make these in white and gold. You can make them in red. What are your colors? I kind of like an idea of turquoise trees. So this is fun and easy, ladies, and run with the idea. Then, oh, wait a minute. I've got some more stuff to show you. Look at this. I did these in metallic fabrics. And see the dowel rod and the plaster and the little trunk. And, oh my gosh, in fact, you know what? I think I was supposed to make these for everybody 2 years ago. Never finished them. Maybe I can finish them this year. There's always hope. But see how I did them all different varieties. You know, it's like, okay, I'll try this and I'll try that. And so this was a kind of lame fabric that I used. And pardon me, I've got to pick up one of my little stumps. But the dowel rod came out of this. What I would do is put some glue and then stick it back in there. All right. So here are the components. Here, my little dowel rod and the little piece of log. And by putting plaster in the bottom, it helped give it some weight too, so it doesn't tip as easily. But you can see all the scraps I had that I used to make it. So that's first quick and easy Christmas. And I mean, I'd love to receive them as gifts. So another thing is I did this with my retreat group a couple years ago. I saw this in a shop and thought, how cool is this? And what I did is got free straws, and you can use coffee stir straws. I even got some Barbie straws from the dollar store, and take Barbie off. And then you can use these pink ones for those of you who are fond of pink. And what you do is you take and cut a piece of pipe cleaner, and I've got pink, red, and white pipe cleaners, and you stick it in the end of a straw. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck are those? Or maybe you've already seen them, because this is not a new idea. And you use a glue like E6000, something really toxic, but tacky glue won't keep it in. And what you're doing is you're putting these little twists in, and now this becomes a sewing machine cleaner. You can clean all up and around the light bulb and around the needle up top or in bottom. And then I have these cute little balls, and I glued one to the other end, and that also helps you clean all the little crevices, nooks and crannies of your sewing machine. So these are great if you want to make gifts for other quilters, if you belong to a group and you'd like to make gifts. And so I've got the pipe cleaners, and this was all stuff from the dollar store, I think. So very inexpensive. And, you know, I save straws. I swear, I'm not a hoarder, but I know I look like one. But I save straws when I go to a place and they give them to you because, you know, no sense throw them away. So anyway, that's a fun, cute little gift. Just remember, get a really good glue because Tacky glue won't do it. And you don't want to stick it down in your machine and then the top comes off. So that's the second fun thing. And I'm going to have more next week too, because we're going to keep having fun all the way to Christmas. I love having fun. I love Christmas. All right. This I saw this year on one of my many sites. And I took them to the retreat for ladies who wanted to make them. But, you know, at my retreat, it's the same as here. You don't have to do anything you don't want. So a lot of them didn't make them. So I've got plenty left over. Charlotte, we're going to make these next week, darling. And I do love dollar stores. Oh, remind me to tell you about pens. Or did I already tell? I might have already told you. But this was a make and take it I did. Let me tell you how to make them. Charlotte, you'll be making some of these next week, sweetie. If you wish, you know, because now you know you're the boss. So, as a long arm quilter, I end up with lots of thin strips of batting. And I save them. Boy, there's a theme developing here. So, what I did is I got some wire and I got some pliers and I did it myself. I'm woman, hear me roar. Oh, big arms. So, and I have pliers and I make, and guess where I got the pliers? Yes, the dollar store. And I make a loop on the one end. I cut the wires at about 12 or 14 inches. Make a loop at one end so that when I put this batting on, it won't slip off the other end. Now, this is the only thing I had a little bit of a problem with. So this is probably where I'd get an awl or something to, because sometimes it's a little tricky to get that batting on. But what I do to make it look fuller is I go in through one corner of the batting and then come out through that corner of the batting. When I looked on the site, they said just stick it through the middle of the batting, but you would have to have a bunch. But see how when this goes on, it's a little fuller and gives a fluffier look. Okay. Then I went to the dollar store and the craft store, and I got glitter. I ordered off eBay for $1 and something these wooden little charms from China. The dollar store in China, my two favorite shopping places. And, whoa, let me get this out carefully. Then I went to the dollar store and found some bling. These are like little the stuff you'd scatter on a table to decorate a table. And it's all mixed with some glitter that people use too. I had some white glitter glue and store it upside down. And that's important because you can either use hot glue and sift the glitter on, or tacky glue and sift the glitter on, or use a glitter glue that you can sift more glitter on. And you know, Deb, more the better. I made up a bunch of lengths of these for the hanger part on the top. And then I sat there and tied a bunch, 40 of these little tiny bows. So Charlotte, it's the hard work's mostly done. What is Charlotte saying? Exactly. I mean, I go on eBay, honey, and I can find, boy, let me tell you, I can find deals. So you just sit while you're watching TV, and and I cut these into like 1.25 inch squares, and I just take and shove the wire in one side, come across in an angle like this, and then I just load them up on here. And this, I think, took about 25, 26 of the little squares. But aren't these the cutest things? I mean, hanging on a tree, I think it's lovely. Oh, and another thing I got, I don't see them, but somewhere, oh, they're loose in the bag. They came out of the package. But they're little plastic red pearl beads. And I got those on sale at Joann's for like 99 cents. So, this is nearly free. If you have coworkers you'd like to make a quick little gift, or relatives, like all my kids will be getting some of these, and their in-laws, and who knows, anybody else I can stick in somebody's hand. So I'll just, I've done all this work cutting all these squares. I cut 900 and some 1 1/4 inch squares of batting. So I wanted to, and I've already pre-cut all of the wreath stuff. So anyway, so are any questions about that? Any questions? And then when you finish and get this around, you would just connect this wire into that hoop, bend it back, give it a little twist with your pliers, and then hang your little ribbon on the top. But I thought, how cute is this? Instead of taking your scraps of batting and throwing them in the trash and filling up a landfill, make cute little ornaments that show you care. I would much rather have something made than bought any day. I mean, it's just really sweet to know that somebody's thinking about you. So I think that's about it for me. What time is it? 4:20. I think we'll finish up here about 4:30. So please, if you have any questions, if you want to tell me what's going on with you, I've got a doctor's appointment this Thursday, so be thinking about me for that one. Hopefully everything's right, but just got a test result they got to check out. Not sure, what's going on. But, it's so funny. I've scheduled so many appointments for the end of the year because I've met my deductible and hurry, get everything in. So I'm going to get my eyes checked, my mammogram done, and the other place done. Get everything done real quick before the beginning of the year. So see how I'm just sitting here as we're talking, just feeding them on. But you know what? This might be nice. This is, since I have them so ready, it might be nice just to give them to strangers. Oh, or would they get weird? They'd say, what are you doing? But maybe leave one in the mailbox for the mailman. And when I go to the post office, give one to the post office lady. Yeah, I love Pay It Forward. Love Pay It Forward. My daughter, Charlotte's mother, is so good at that. One year for her birthday, she was turning 36, and she did 36 Pay It Forwards for people. Little things like at a Redbox, leave a package of microwave popcorn. Just little sweet things that make you feel good and make the person finding them feels good. Donate them to Salvation Army. They could put them together with the packages for families. That's a lovely idea. Lovely. Okay, you are waiting about the live stream for New Year's Day. Is it? Okay, not a problem. And you can tell me, Melissa, whether Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday works better for you. And I would love, in fact, it would be fun. Well, Melissa would probably rather stay home in her nice, warm house with her big, beautiful dog and her beautiful new house. But I was saying, oh, man, I wish I could get her here and we could have both of our laptops going chatting with you at once. So I had the best time sewing with Melissa. I had the best time sewing with Melissa at the retreat. And she fit in like nobody's business. It was great. You left quarters around the park. That's right, you did, didn't you? Just because you know how much found money means? But both of my daughters remember finding money when they were going to college. And, everything was so tight financially for them. And if you find a $10 or $20 bill, it's like, oh, wow. That's amazing. On the second, okay, yeah, I didn't know if people had off New Year's Eve or if people weren't busy New Year's Eve. So anyway, whatever y'all want to do. I have a dear friend. I used to do test quilts for her until I realized I was no good at it. And her name is Mary May, and she's in New Jersey, and she operates under Mary Mayhem quilts because she does lots of mysteries, and she does beautiful mysteries. In fact, the one I did this past August, which is laying right over there. It's off the frame. I just need to bind it now. And so, I mean, that is a gorgeous mystery. That's worth the fabric. So, but I haven't heard if she's doing anything for New Year's Day. But so Sunday, we'll go ahead and tentatively then plan for Sunday. I mean, it's the day we normally use anyway. And hopefully most of your holiday events are done by then. You know, we were talking about earlier, what was that tool? It started with an ST. I don't know. It would be really good to have something sharp to poke this little hole through, because I wouldn't want to make a bunch of these. It's tough to push them through. Stiletto. God, thank you, Bonnie. Now, Bonnie and I are the same age, but she doesn't have all these age-related degenerations that I do. What's that about? She's so young. But anyway. Oh, God, there was this woman at the retreat, and I thought she was in her 50s, and she was my age. And I went, what happened? Why do you look so good? And I look so haggard. So, you're not the crazy grandma. Your dad called it a skip in the tape. I love that. Oh, my God, that's so good. That is so good. Yeah, I've always said, my Rolodex keeps spinning. It won't stop and let me read what's on the card. So, skipping the tape. I love that. So, anything anybody else has to talk about? I think I've pretty much. Thank you, Bonnie. And I'll start that. I'll start the giveaway again soon. But you see how easy it is to make something like this? Piece of cake. So, I'm looking around to see if I've forgotten anything. And I'm so excited about beginner basics. The next thing, though, what I'm really going to be working on, getting out information early about the Fleur for anyone who wishes. I know, they don't know what a tape is. You're right. They live in a digital world. Oh, my goodness. Charlotte, do you remember VHS tapes or cassette tapes? Charlotte might remember cassette tapes because they were big for a while on audiobooks. I love audiobooks because it's hard for me to have time at night on my Nook. I read books, but otherwise I love audiobooks. All right. How is this going? And I think this week I'll go ahead and add at least one of these prizes for Miss Bonnie. So, okay. And I will get you the stuff for the Fleur. And you know, Bonnie, now, Charlotte, I just love you. That's the age. She says, oh, I know what tapes are. They're the ones that my baby videos are on. That is great, Charlotte. See, we remember what it was like to have a TV with a screen this big, and we all sat around and watched the Ed Sullivan Show on Sunday night. Do y'all remember that? We remember what it was like to have one telephone in the center of the house, and you used to have to go and sit on a little bench and talk on it briefly. You couldn't get up and walk around. And we remember what it's like that Charlotte at 11 o'clock, they would play 11 or 12 o'clock. They would play the Star Spangled Banner and show a video of a jet plane flying over. And then the TV just went off. There was nothing on anywhere. And I remember when I was about your age, I hated that. I would try to hurry and run to bed before they played that because I felt like the whole world had disappeared. Yes, so yeah, you had to get up and walk across the room to change the channel, to turn it up or turn it down. Oh, my gosh. I remember that. So, Charlotte, so much has changed, boy. And, you know, Charlotte, the dinosaurs used to run around the earth, and we had to avoid them. So, I actually did have to walk to school in rain or snow, uphill and down. But I did have shoes, thank goodness. So, That was the bedtime. You knew when bedtime was. I knew when it was lunchtime because when the doctors came on, that was a soap opera my mother watched. Now, later in life, she said, I never watched soap operas. It was like, really? Well, then how come we knew what time lunchtime was by the theme music? Oh. Well, y'all are wonderful. I love you dearly. I think I'm going to stick around after I say goodbye to you and make another beginner basics. I've got one already filmed and I've got ideas just running crazy. And I'm just going to take one topic at a time and cover it. And I think it might be kind of nice because instead of slapdash, whatever, let's go in detail and kind of have like a little glossary of all the basic things. Thank you, Sonia. It was so good seeing you. Thank everyone, both Patties, Melissa, Bonnie, my granddaughter, Charlotte. Quality Quilts. Yay. I saw that you subscribed. Hello, Quality Quilts. I am so honored that you're with us. Oh, you use the backside of the, see? Give me your hints, Bonnie. I'll include them in the basics because you know what? It truly is. The more people you surround yourself with and talk with about quilting, the more you learn. It's amazing the things I've learned from other quilters. I'm tickled Quality Quilts is here. Yay, Quality Quilts. What happened to the dog? Did something happen to a dog? What is Michelle talking about? Poor dog. Uh-oh, did I miss something? Oh, Polly hears me. Oh, I love my Polly. I had the best time with her here. Oh, my God, she's so cute. Yeah, Polly hears me on the computer and goes, where's my Nana? You know what, Charlotte, I don't know if your mom will let you, but if you want to bring Polly with you this weekend, do it. We give your mom a nice break because this is her busy time of year. You had an art fair yesterday. Oh, how did you do selling your wall hangings? And you know what? We'd love to see pictures of them. All right, you have a great week too, my Michelle. I love my Michelle. I keep saying I'm going to phone call you, but I'm going to call you soon. I got to tell you about something. So, I hope you did really well. My daughter has a craft fair next weekend up in Maryland, and she is so busy making all her stuff. But Quality Quilts, we'd love to invite you to our Yahoo group. I'm not sure if I said it, but if you send, and look what I got done while we were talking. Okay, if you send an email to ourtimetoquilt@twc.com. If you send an email to that, I'll send you an invitation to our Yahoo group because we would love to have you. Oh, snow. So you're up north somewhere. I'm shocked that so much of the country already has snow. Although you should see out the window. It is so foggy. I wouldn't want to go outside. So, we would love Quality Quilts. We'd love to have you as part of our group. I love it when we get people who, Minnesota. Yes, you do have snow now in Minnesota. Oh my gosh, that's great. I can't wait till one day I hope to visit. Mark and I hope to get in that RV and just, head off, pick a place on a map. Boom, there we go. We're going there. And I'm kind of hoping, too, you like the accent? Minnesota. Yeah, let me tell you, da. But I'm hoping that if I can be known enough that I could stop at quilt guilds along the way as part of my travels, do trunk shows or do a little workshop because I love meeting other quilters. So that's keep that in the back of your mind if you hear of a quilt group looking for a speaker or something. Might be a couple years before we actually hit the road, but I'm already trying to start doing truck shows and things in the North Carolina, Virginia area, South Carolina. Well, it was snowing earlier this morning. Oh my, now it's raining. Whew. Oh, and I tell Kinsey we're thinking of her. What a sweetheart she is. So we're thinking of her. Well, I need to say goodbye, guys. Mark and I have decided to have breakfast for dinner, and I'm going to make the pancakes. So I can't wait. Hopefully the blueberries haven't molded, because I'd like to add some blueberries into them. And if not, should I add chocolate chips, or is that just too decadent? So I know Bonnie's had something good to eat. That woman cooks. I mean, talented woman, Renaissance woman. Her and Melissa are my two Renaissance women heroes. You know, they can do anything. So love breakfast for dinner. Yeah, Charlotte loves it too. You had thunderstorms last night. Now that's odd. So, well, guys, it was so good. Yeah, sure, you betcha. I love that quality quilt. Yeah, sure, you betcha. I listened to Keeler. What was his first? Garrison Keeler for years. And just, God, I love Lake Wobegon stories. I mean, you know, yes, it might have been people of Germanic and Norwegian and stuff descent, but there's a common thread that runs through it all. And another reason that, you know what? I always like to say America is like stone soup. And it's the parable of stone soup, where a man had nothing to eat and he invited people to come help him make stone soup. And they were going, stone soup? But each person brought a little something to the pot. And before you knew it, they had a huge pot of warm, delicious soup that fed the whole town. And that's what America is and should be. And we're all welcome at this table. And I know in our time to quilt, you are all welcome at our table. And you know what? The number of sewers makes a better quilt. I believe it. Well, have a great, great week, you doll babies. And do something to feed your soul, because you are worth it. And this time of year, we know who Santas are. It's us. So take good care of yourself so you can take good care of those you love, and do something to feed your soul. Mwah! Take good care. Thank you for joining me. You make my Sundays. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.